Hello everyone. Today I will show you how to configure and use Git plus GitHub. First of all, why do we need those? Git is a tool that allows you to track your progress, not lose your work, and also collaborate using websites like GitHub, which is built using Git. So first of all, we'll need to navigate to github.com and create an account. Okay. Type in some password. Think of a strong one. Let's continue. Make sure that your username is available. Let's continue. You will be asked to solve some puzzle. Use the arrows to rotate the object in the direction of the hand. Okay. Okay, let's open our inbox and enter the verification code. Okay, here it's not really important what you choose. Choose accordingly to your needs. You can choose as many as you want here. Again, it's not that important at that step, at this stage of the process. Let's continue for free. Okay, now that we have our account, let's create a repository. I will call it a demonstration. And I'm gonna make it public. You can also choose to make it private, so that no one has access to it unless you do grant the access to other people. You can choose a git ignore template here at this step. I will go ahead and choose Python. This file will be added to your repository right away. You can also choose to add readme file. That's a markdown file that will appear automatically on the main page of your repository and will be displayed according to the markdown syntax in the file in your starting page of the repository. You can also choose the license. I'm gonna go ahead and pick MIT license. That's the least restrictive one as far as I'm concerned. Create repository. Okay, here we see three files that we have chosen to create: readme, license, and gitignore. Now, in order to synchronize your work from your computer with your GitHub account, you need to create SSH keys. SSH is the name of the protocol. I'm not gonna dive into much technical details here. You can think about SSH keys as kind of a password stored in a file which allows you to connect to your GitHub account. So how do we do that? You can search GitHub create SSH keys or generate SSH keys, and then just click the first link. Now here please pay attention. Depending on your operating system, you have to choose the correct option. You can see it already has Windows pre-selected for me because probably browser has sent this information to GitHub when I access this page, and you will also probably have this pre-selected for you, but pay attention just for case. Now, in order to accomplish this, we will need to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm gonna open a terminal. You can choose whatever you like. I'm gonna go ahead and use PowerShell. And then we are going to go ahead and type comments one by one here in your PowerShell or whatever one you choose. Oops, I lost my PowerShell. Okay, don't forget to modify your email. Once you type it correctly, press enter. I will go ahead and choose the default option. In order to do this, and I recommend you do the same because the following comments will rely on this path. In order to do that, you just press enter without typing anything. Now, at this step, you have the option to secure your stored SSH key with a password. I'm gonna go ahead and create a password for that. You can just hit enter if you want to leave it without the encryption. Once you type the password, the program will ask you to type it again to make sure you have done no mistakes. And if everything went well, you will see something similar to this art. That will be random and each time it will differ a little bit. Okay, so now we have keys. Let's go ahead and proceed with the next steps. This is an alternative command. We just skip this one because we already used this one. Now the next one is this one. In order to run this two commands correctly, you will have to open PowerShell in admin elevated mode. How do you do that? Type PowerShell, click with the right button and select Run as Administrator. Okay, now I have PowerShell. Copy these two commands one by one. And that's the wrong one. You can see this has not the administrator user. That's the one we need. Press enter, no errors here. And now let's use this one. Okay, we are done. Let's move to the next command. Now this one can be run as a non-admin if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna go ahead and open a regular PowerShell here. Paste this command. That's weird. Oh, that's because I forgot to modify the path. Here you have to type your username. Now it should work. And now it asks me for the path phrase, basically the password that I created earlier. You should see the identity added message. Please make sure you see it before proceeding. If you don't see it, it means something went wrong. You made some mistake. So in each step, after every command, there should be no errors. Otherwise, stop for a second and recheck. Okay. That's the section we don't really need. Now, we would need a different manual for adding our newly generated SSH key to our GitHub account. You can go ahead and Google add SSH key to GitHub. And again, the first result would be a GitHub documentation page. Again, make sure you have chosen the right section. Here we need web browser. That's much easier. We will go ahead with web browser. Scroll down, copy this command. Again, for this one we don't need administrator rights, so just a regular PowerShell. Copy, paste, make sure that there are no errors. Something is wrong here. You can see the error. Okay, it doesn't work this way for me. So obviously I have to find another way to do it. And what this command does, it basically copies the contents of your public key. There's a pair of keys, public and private, and we need a public one to be uploaded to your GitHub account. So what I can do instead is just open the file in my files browser. You should navigate to your home directory and open the SSH directory inside it. Now, if you don't see the .ssh directory here, you should go ahead and allow showing hidden files and directories inside it. After you have done it, go ahead to proceed and copy the contents of the public file. I'm gonna open it with text editor or notepad, something like that, doesn't matter. And copy the contents of it. If you didn't have the error like I did during the previous step, that means you have the contents of the file copied into buffer already. Now let's go to our account and open settings. Oh my god, where are settings? Yeah, here they are. Okay, now on the left find SSH and GPG keys section. And let's add a new SSH key. Here goes the title. That's the name of the device. That's normally the name of the device that the key is generated on. So go ahead and type the name of your PC that you will recognize later. For example, I'm gonna go ahead and say Lenovo PC, and that's something I can recognize later. And now here I paste the contents I just copied before. Okay, we are done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna navigate back to our repositories, and we are going to copy the contents of the repository. So basically, using our newly generated key, download, clone it locally from the GitHub website. After I navigated to my repository, I click this button, select the SSH tab, and copy this line, which is a link to my repository, which allows me to clone the repository locally using SSH. I'm gonna go ahead and open the terminal once again, and I will do this command in terminal. PowerShell, no admin rights needed here either. I'm gonna go ahead and change directory, which cd command stands for, to PyCharm projects. That's where all my repositories are located. And after that type git clone, and then I'm gonna paste the link I just copied. Now this command is not gonna work for me because I removed Git from my computer for the purpose of this video. So if I press enter, depending on whether you have Git installed or not, you will see the error or you will see the process of cloning. So I'm gonna go ahead and install Git here. If for you this command was successful, that's probably everything you need to know here, and the rest is for those who have the error like I do. I'm gonna close it again, and I'm gonna go ahead, move to Git website. You can find it by just searching Git, and the first one will be whichever you need. You can navigate to downloads right away. Okay, select your operating system and select the version that you will download. Now for me it's 64-bit. For most of you it's gonna be 64-bit as well. 32-bit version, I haven't seen it used in years already. And I'm gonna select the standalone installer, not the portable one. I just don't need the portable one. I'm okay with standalone one. Save it here and open it here. It will start the installation soon. I'm gonna allow it to run. Next default option. This is because I already had it before. I'm gonna press yes. I'm gonna go ahead with the default pre-selection of options here and here and here, because I'm used to using Vim. Okay, I'm gonna choose the default option here as well, and it's main. I don't want to override it, because sometimes I can work with old repositories which contain something like master or stuff like that. So default option here. Yeah, this works for me as well. So basically default options almost everywhere. I don't need the external OpenSSH. OpenSSH works for me, okay. That doesn't really matter a lot. Check out as this commit this. This works for me. Not really that important. IDE will handle this. And default option here as well. That depends on your organization agreements, but you can configure it later for each repository separately. So default option here as well. I'm not gonna use it anyway, so default option here as well. And default options here. I'm not gonna enable this one because that requires additional configuration. I'm lazy, I'm not gonna do it. Not enabling this, and let's go with this install. So basically default options everywhere. Okay, once it installs, I would be able to clone the repository in my terminal. I'm gonna repeat previous steps. cd change directory to the one that stores all my repositories, which is PyCharm projects. And once it installs, I will be able to git clone the repository. Okay, now it's installed. Let's finish here. Here I don't want to see the release notes. And now I should be able to clone. Still doesn't work. That's probably because I need a new window with reloaded paths to my programs, including Git. So let's cd once again, PyCharm projects, and Git clone once again. Now this should work. Yeah, it does. If you see this cloning into whatever the name is, that means that Git is installed. Now, it asks you, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Basically, after you say yes for the first time, it will remember your answer and it will write it down in an additional file inside your SSH directory and will not ask you anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and type yes. This site is saved. Now if you created a passphrase for your key, you have to type it now here. You should see this last line, receiving objects, and if it says done, that means everything works as expected. Now if I do the ls command, which stands for something like list, I should see it here, demonstration. That's what we got here, and if I change directory to demonstration, I will see those three files that were created automatically in the GitHub for me. ls here, yes, gitignore, license, readme, md, everything works as expected. In the next video I will show you how to use Git locally and create, commit and push your code to GitHub. Thank you for your attention. We'll see you next time.